Okay, welcome everyone to Have More Babies.
Great to be here.
Let's just dive right in. We all know that dream, right? The peacefully sleeping baby.
Oh, yeah. The dream that feels miles away sometimes.
Especially when the tiniest noise seems to wake them up. A creaky floorboard, the heating clicking on.
Absolutely. And, well, that's why today we're exploring something that can actually help with that.
Ah,
Sound.
specifically white noise, right? And how it might help babies sleep better.
Exactly. We're drawing on some great insights from the experts at Omega Pediatrics for this.
Fantastic. So our mission today really is to understand the science. How can sounds like white noise genuinely make bedtime, maybe even those middle-of-the-night moments, a bit calmer?
Mm-hmm. It's about finding tools that work, offering maybe a bit of a shortcut to a more peaceful sleep routine for the baby, and let's be honest, for the parents too.
Definitely for the parents. So let's start with the basics. What is white noise? We hear the term thrown around a lot.
Right. So, at its core, white noise is a type of sound that includes all the frequencies humans can hear.
All of them.
Yep, the whole audible spectrum. And importantly, they're all presented at roughly the same intensity.
Okay, so it's consistent, uniform.
Exactly.
Yep.
Uniform is a good word. It creates this steady, even sound.
Like, if you remember old TVs or radios, that static sound between channels, is that close?
That's a perfect analogy, actually.
Sure.
It often sounds like a hissing or a static noise,
Mhm.
like that unused frequency.
Right.
And the good news is you don't need an old radio. You can get dedicated white noise machines or, just use an app on your phone or tablet. Very convenient.
Okay, so it's this kind of constant sonic blanket, but how does that actually help a baby sleep? What's going on there?
Well, the main mechanism is something called the masking effect.
Masking effect.
Yeah. The steady white noise essentially helps to cover up or mask other sounds in the environment, sounds that might otherwise startle or wake the baby.
Ah, okay. Like the dog barking next door or maybe traffic sounds.
Precisely those things. Or
Yeah.
even just noises inside the house, someone closing a door down the hall. The white noise makes those sudden sounds less jarring.
So it sort of smooths out the auditory environment,
Yeah.
creates a little sound cocoon.
That's a great way to put it. But there's potentially another layer too.
Oh.
Some experts believe white noise can also create a soothing feeling because it might mimic the sounds the baby heard constantly in the womb.
Ah, that makes sense. That sort of constant whooshing sound they were used to for 9 months.
Exactly. So that familiarity, even subconsciously, could provide a sense of security and comfort, especially for newborns adjusting to the outside world.
Interesting. So it's calming in a familiar way.
Possibly, yeah. And it might even help muffle some of the baby's own little internal noises, gurgles or sighs that could potentially disrupt their sleep cycle.
Huh, I never thought about that. Okay, so if parents want to try this, how do they actually use white noise effectively, practically speaking?
Well, like we mentioned, dedicated machines are an option,
Yeah.
often designed just for this purpose. But the apps on phones or tablets are super popular too, especially because they're so portable. You can use them when traveling, visiting family, anywhere really.
That portability is a big plus, definitely. But are there safety things to keep in mind? Volume levels, maybe?
Oh, absolutely. This is really important. The volume is key. Experts generally recommend keeping the white noise level at or below 50 decibels.
50 decibels. What does that sound like in real life?
It's roughly the level of, say, a quiet conversation or maybe a newer model dishwasher running or a quiet hairdryer, not loud.
Okay, so not blasting it. Gentle background sound.
Correct. And the other crucial part is distance.
Right, where you put the machine or the phone.
Exactly. You should place the sound source at least 7 feet away from the baby's ears. Some even say 10 feet is better.
7 to 10 feet. Okay. Why is that so important?
It's to protect their developing hearing. Consistent loud noise close to the ears isn't good for anyone, especially babies. So distance provides that buffer.
Makes total sense. Safety first. So, assuming parents are using it correctly, right volume, right distance, what are the main upsides? What benefits can they expect?
Well, the big one is potentially helping babies fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer,
The Holy Grail.
pretty much. That consistent soothing sound helps create that relaxing environment. And like we said, it blocks those sudden disturbances.
Less waking up from random noises.
Exactly. And another benefit is routine building.
How so?
If you consistently play the white noise during nap time and bedtime, it becomes a sort of auditory cue. It signals to the baby, okay, it's time to wind down and sleep now.
Like a little sleep association, a sound signal.
Precisely. That consistency can be really helpful in establishing predictable sleep patterns.
I can see that. What else?
There's also the comfort aspect we touched on, mimicking those womb sounds. It can provide that feeling of security, which is really valuable as they adjust to the big wide world.
Yeah, that transition must be huge for them.
It really is. And, there's a benefit for the parents, too.
Oh, beyond maybe getting more sleep themselves.
Yes. Because the white noise masks other sounds,
Yeah.
it often means parents don't have to tiptoe around quite so much.
Ah. So you can maybe run the dishwasher or watch TV at a normal volume without worrying quite as much?
Exactly. It can just lower the stress level in the household a bit, allowing for more normal daily activities while the baby sleeps.
That sounds like a significant quality of life improvement. Now, white noise is kind of the star, but the Omega Pediatrics info mentions other sounds too, right? It's not just static.
No, definitely not. White noise is just one color on the sound spectrum, so to speak. There's also pink noise.
Pink noise. Okay, what's that like?
Pink noise is a bit deeper than white noise. It has more power in the lower frequencies, less than the higher ones. Think of steady rainfall, or maybe wind rustling leaves or gentle ocean waves. It sounds a bit softer, more bass heavy.
Rainfall. Yeah, that does sound calming. So it's less hissy, more rumbly.
A little bit, yeah. It's
Yeah.
often described as very soothing. Then you have brown noise.
Okay, white, pink, now brown. Is that even deeper?
Even deeper, yes. Brown noise, sometimes called red noise, emphasizes the lowest frequencies even more. It's a richer, more powerful sound. Think strong waterfalls, or maybe a low rolling thunder in the distance.
Wow, okay, like a really deep rumble.
Exactly. And because it's so deep, some find it particularly good at masking those lower frequency background noises, like traffic rumble.
So white is even hiss, pink is like rain, brown is a deep rumble. Useful distinctions? Are there others?
Sure. Simple nature sounds are often included in apps and machines, just recordings of rain, waves, forest ambiances. These can create a very peaceful atmosphere.
Right, just general calming nature vibes.
And finally, there are specific womb sound recordings. These try to replicate the actual sounds heard inside the uterus, the heartbeat, the whooshing sounds.
Directly mimicking that environment.
Yeah, the idea is maximum familiarity and comfort, especially for very young infants.
It's really interesting how many options there are. Now, shifting slightly, babies make their own noises around sleep time, don't they? Those little self-soothing sounds.
They absolutely do. And paying attention to those can actually tell you a bit about what's going on.
Like what?
Well, you might hear some soft babbling, little consonant vowel sounds like ba-ba or mama. This often happens when they're transitioning between sleep cycles.
So if you hear that, it doesn't necessarily mean they're fully waking up and need help.
Not necessarily, no. It can just be part of their natural sleep process, shifting into a lighter phase.
Okay. What about whining? Sometimes babies whine when being rocked.
Yes, that low, sometimes sort of drawn-out whining sound while being held or rocked can actually be a sign of relaxation.
Really? Not distress.
Often not. It seems to be connected to them processing the motion and the comfort of being held as they wind down. It's usually quite different from a distress cry.
Good to know. It's easy to misinterpret sounds.
It is. And then they're just soft sounds and sighs, little noises as they're maybe stirring a bit or drifting back off. These usually signal contentment.
So it's like learning their own little sleep language.
Kinda, yeah. Understanding these can help you know when to intervene and when to let them settle themselves.
Right. Okay, let's circle back quickly to safety. We talked volume and distance for white noise. But overall, is it considered safe?
Generally, yes. The consensus from pediatric experts is that white noise is safe for babies when used correctly.
Meaning sticking to those guidelines.
Absolutely. Keeping the volume at or below that 50 decibel mark and ensuring the machine is positioned at least 7, preferably more, feet away. Those are the crucial safety parameters.
Got it. And it's also important to remember it's a tool, right? Not a replacement for other safe sleep practices.
Exactly. That's a critical point. White noise is supplementary. It doesn't replace putting baby on their back to sleep in a clear crib and all of the other standard safe sleep recommendations from pediatricians. It's just one part of creating a safe and conducive sleep environment.
Okay, super important clarification. So for parents who are now thinking, okay, maybe I'll try this. There are tons of apps and devices out there. How do you choose? What should they look for?
Good question. There are a few features to consider. First, think about the sound options. Does it offer variety? White, pink, brown, nature sounds, maybe womb sounds. Having options lets you experiment and see what your baby responds best to.
Makes sense. Not all babies might like the same sound.
Right. Second, precise volume control. You need to be able to set it accurately to that safe, comfortable level, not just low, medium, high.
Good point. What else?
Timer settings can be really useful. You can set it to run for a specific duration, maybe just while they fall asleep or for a whole nap, and have it shut off automatically.
Saves you sneaking back in later.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Also, consider portability if you plan to use it outside the nursery, like for travel. A small, easily packable device is helpful.
Yeah, consistency is probably key even when you're away from home.
Definitely. And then just ease of use. Especially in the middle of the night, you want something with simple, intuitive controls. Nothing complicated.
For sure. Fumbling with buttons at 3 a.m. is no fun.
No. And finally, look for basic safety features, things like automatic shut-off if it runs too long, or maybe overheat protection on a physical machine. And always, always read reviews and recommendations from other parents. Real-world feedback is invaluable.
That's great practical advice. Okay, so wrapping things up, it really sounds like sound white noise, pink noise, whatever works can be a genuinely helpful tool for parents.
I think so. When used properly, it can definitely help promote better sleep by masking those disturbances, creating that soothing environment, and helping establish routines. It can be a real ally.
A valuable asset in the quest for sleep, but the key takeaway is using it safely. Volume and distance are paramount.
Absolutely paramount. And remember, it's just one piece of the puzzle.
Right, and for listeners who want to dive even deeper into this or any other aspect of baby sleep or pediatric health, we really recommend checking out omegapediatrics.com.
Yes, they have a wealth of information, expert guidance, really comprehensive resources over at omegapediatrics.com. Definitely worth a visit.
So please do head over there. And hey, if you found this conversation helpful today, we'd love it if you'd give this video a like.
And subscribe to the channel. We have more discussions like this coming up.
Please do share it with any other parents you know who might be navigating these sleepy challenges too.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe leave you with this thought. Consider how creating that consistent, comforting soundscape might be, a missing element in your baby's sleep puzzle.
That's a good point. And what other maybe subtle things in their environment could be influencing how well they rest? Something to ponder.
Definitely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for this exploration today.
Thanks for having me. Goodbye, everyone.
Until next time.